Howdy, seventh grade. A few classes ago, not too long, we worked on simplifying square roots. We're going to continue that strain a little bit today, working on how to find their products. We're going to be multiplying square roots together and seeing what we find, which is actually something we had to learn in order to simplify them. So this is kind of a whole review thing. But I'm going to start anyways, just simplifying a fairly simple square root with the square root of 80 and looking at what I'm supposed to do with this. So whenever I have this, what I want to do with square roots is make a factor tree. 80 is 8 times 10, 8 is 4 times 2, and 4 is 2 times 2, and 10 is 5 times 2. So that should be in a point now where I can start looking at this and regroup these as their own little square roots. So I know that the square root of 80 is going to be the same as the square root of 2 times the square root of 2 times the square root of 2 times the square root of 5 times the square root of 2. And I found those numbers because those were the numbers at the bottom of my tree. 2, 2, 2, 5, 2. 2, 2, 2, 5, 2. And just like that, I am ready to try to simplify. So I know that the square root of 2 times the square root of 2 is by definition 2. And the square root of 2 times the square root of 2 is by definition 2, leaving me with this square root of 5 all by itself. And I really hope that 2 times 2 is 4. So I end up with 4 times the square root of 5, and that is what the fully simplified version of this looks like. So if we notice, we could already kind of tell that if we multiply these square roots on the outside, which means we multiply these together, this is the same thing as saying the square root of 2 times 2 times 2 times 5 times 2, which would mean the square root of 80, which is where we started. So we should already know that if we have square roots, we can just put all the numbers on the inside if we're multiplying, not if we're adding. Don't do it if we're adding. But if we're multiplying, we can do it and it'll still kind of work. So let's look at a couple examples here, just for fun. If I have, let's use square root of 15 times the square root of 20, and I want to simplify this. The way I actually would do this, there's two different ways, and I'll show you the hard way first and the easy way second. So I'm going to start with the way I would not do this, actually. So we're going to call this the long way. I would start by doing square root of 15 times the square root of 20 equals the square root of 15 times 20, which is the square root of 300. And from here, I can simplify. Square root of 300, well, 300 is the same as 3 times 100. 3 is prime, but 100 is 10 times 10. 10 is 5 and 2. 10 is 5 and 2. And from here, I can say that I have root 3, root 5, root 2, root 5, root 2. These become 5, those become 2. This is still root 3. 5 times 2 is 10 with my root 3. And that's what I get. So again, it's not too hard. Once I get to this root 300, which we know how to do, I make a factor tree. I put all my factors, which are the ones at the end of my tree, inside their own square roots. I find pairs, because that can give me whole numbers. And then I put my leftover square roots at the end. So that's not too bad. But let me show you the easy way to do it, which is going to be a little bit faster. Easy way. Which, if I remember correctly, we had the square root of 15 times the square root of 20. So if I wanted to, I could multiply these together and make a factor tree of the square root of 300. Or I could say, well, I'll just factor tree these right now. And 15 is 3 and 5. 20 is 2 and 10. 10 is 2 and 5. So now I know square root of 15 is root 3 times root 5. I'm multiplying that by root 20, which is 2. Root 2, root 5, and I can pair these up. So root 2 is 2, root 5 is 5, and my root 3 is still a root 3. 5 and 2 is 10, root 3. And I think this way, where we don't actually ever have to multiply these two numbers together, but I just factor tree them separately, it's exactly the same, because if I multiply these together, I could get 300, and my factor tree break them into 15 and 20, and then go into 3, 5, 2, 10, 2, 5. if I wanted to, I'm just skipping the step of multiplying this and then dividing it back out. So I'm saying we don't have to do that. Instead, we just don't multiply them right away. Go ahead, break them apart, and then try to simplify as soon as we're ready to go. So this is something that we should be fairly good on. We already did it for one day, and y'all seem to get it pretty well. So if y'all would do the lesson practice, that would be delightful, and I will see y'all in class.